施錠をしたとはいえ、こんな古い木の扉なんて簡単に破られるだろうな。
Can a nigga breathe? I can't breathe.
Grifting. The thing that plagues America like the fucking Black Death. The thing that destroys all growth and diversity everywhere it spreads. Today, I come to you to talk about the biggest perpetrators of this thing we call internet grifting. That includes people like Charlie Kirk.
I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
People like Nick fucking Fuentes, who personally is my favorite bigot. Like, self-admittedly, if I had to pick a bigot to listen to, it'd be him. It's not funny, it's just hilarious how he knows he's wrong and he doesn't even pretend to have some type of pseudoscience or feigned knowledge on it.
Oops. Oh my god, what are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here.
People like Matt Walsh and, you know, just the worst fucking cum stains on the rag that is this earth.
I live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist, okay? I live when I believe.
Charlie Kirk is in fact a racist. I know, guys. I mean, the grass is green, the sky is fucking blue. But if I'm going to be serious and actually demonstrate, all I'd have to do is just look at his brain dead fucking content and see how the fact that he always tries to pick on anything quote unquote woke. But I guarantee you this fucking gummy bear ass bitch could never define what that means. He just couldn't. You see, I already showed one clip and I don't even think I have to explain why that's racist, but it's my fucking channel, so I will. Seeing black pilots and automatically thinking in your head, they're probably not as qualified as white pilots, is fucking racist, dude. You can say what you want about DEI policies and all that. That's another thing super racist that he fucking pushes, this whole anti-DEI rhetoric. It's a bunch of nonsense because if we're gonna look at the actual statistics, DEI policies, which, by the way, don't just help minorities, they help veterans and people with disabilities, as well as women, of course, and that goes to my primary point, which is that if we look at the actual facts, DEI policies have helped white women succeed far more than black men, black women, Hispanics, all minorities. White women have gained the most benefit from these DEI policies. So if Charlie Kirk were to be actually consistent for even a second, he'd have to say, actually, no, when I see a white woman come into the cockpit, I'm wondering about her qualifications. But no, he singles out black people. And why is that? Because he's racist. Now, if his clear picking on black people wasn't enough to show how racist he is, we have tweets like this where he refers to 9/11 and how it was a group of Muslims who killed people, and now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. And of course, he's referring to Zohran Mamdani. Now, first off, what is the alternative, alright? Eric Adams, the fucking self-hating black? No. Or fucking Andrew Cuomo, the dude with numerous sexual assault allegations. Maybe not. Maybe the Muslim isn't the worst idea. But it's also just so telling that he thinks that it's like some sort of dilemma that Muslims did 9/11, but now there's a Muslim who could be the mayor of New York City, and therefore there's some type of correlation. But
here to tell you right now,
buddy, there's just
we
not.
don't care.
Hey, Charlie Kirk's a Christian. You know who else was a Christian? Mustache Man. Does that mean I should be drawing parallels between you and him? I mean, maybe you're hateful like him. Maybe not as, you know, serial killer, but you're definitely as hateful as that guy, where he just yaps and whines and bitches and absolutely moans about shit that isn't happening. He cries about this border crisis and about people who are just quote unquote coming in and getting all these benefits and getting all these things given to them by the government, but there's just no evidence to support this claim. First off, I'll just say this clear and simple, and this will apply to all of the people on this list, including Charlie Kirk. If you are against immigration, if you are against people immigrating to the United States of America, then you are against America, plain and simple. This country was founded on immigrants, and just because your fucking ancestors got here a little earlier doesn't mean that you are more deserving. Also, it's in our Constitution and in our law that immigrants are allowed to be here. And not only that, it is just known fact that while immigrants do not receive Social Security, they pay over 80 to 90 billion dollars in taxes per year. Using all relevant data, immigrants make up way more than they supposedly take. This tweet is very funny. This isn't even talking about race or anything or white supremacy. I just thought this shit was hilarious. This was in 2018. Quote unquote, "Hey liberals, do you notice that when conservatives lose races, we don't riot, scream, smash windows, burn cars, assault people, or need days off work?
Serious?
It's amazing how mature and civil conservatives are. Hey liberals, do you notice that when conservatives lose races, we don't riot, scream, smash windows, burn cars, assault people, or need days off work? It's amazing how mature and civil conservatives are. 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 It's amazing how mature and civil conservatives are." Now, if I haven't already made a pretty strong case thus far, this very last tweet I'd like to touch on would be Charlie Kirk calling Yusuf Salam, who was a member of the Central Park Five. The Central Park Five were basically a group of 5 Hispanic and black teenagers who were falsely accused of raping a white woman in Central Park in 1989. Now, the real aggressor has already came forward and admitted, and all of these people, including Yusuf, has been acquitted. They did not do the crime. So this is pretty much slander. This is defamation. You are calling him a disgusting pig and painting him as a rapist when he didn't do it. He never did it. There was no evidence against him. And like all other evidence points to, black people and minorities in general are just more likely to be falsely imprisoned. Calling someone a pig because they were falsely accused of rape, but you don't care they were falsely accused, is so hilarious coming from Charlie Kirk, because his orange daddy, Donald J. Trump, has actually been found liable for sexual abuse and has actually had way more allegations than any of these Central Park 5 did combined for rape and sexual misconduct and allegations. So if you're just gonna say, well, I don't care if it was proven that they didn't do it, they still did it in my eyes, well, why don't you have the same energy for Trump? Because he's racist, and I rest my case.
Okay. All right, that's what you say.
A net positive that this woman has raised $500,000. I'm glad she has. I hope she raises $1 million.
Get the fuck out of here, bitch!
Matthew Walsh, the transphobic grifter with a neckbeard, the one below all, who honest to God thinks that white women who call 5-year-old black children the N-word hard R multiple times deserves to be financially taken care of for the rest of their life.
Get out there! That nigga is get out there!
So he is truly the king of irony today, as he is one of the biggest baby back bitches when it comes to cancel culture. You heard it here, folks. He is one of the biggest bitches who whine about cancel culture and people being canceled and left liberals who just can't accept that some people have different opinions. Let's just get one thing straight here, guys. Opinions can be wrong. Like, I don't understand this idea that, oh, everybody has to be open-minded to the idea of fascism or the idea that slavery is okay. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Furthermore, this guy Matt, right? Matty B This guy loves to talk about cancel culture, yet these are the same exact people who will fully boycott entire beer brands just because they sponsored a fucking trans woman, or will shit their fucking diapers just because a company has a pride flag outside, or they dare put a gay person in their video game or in their advertisement or whatever. Like, I smell hypocrisy, buddy. I smell bigotry. All right, I'm not hearing any valid points as to why cancel culture is real, or as to why cancel culture, if it were real, is even a negative thing, especially when you guys do it. See, this is what we would call a grift, okay? This guy knows that his rage bait gets him views and gets him money. He will say these stupid things, but then go back on them because these are not real positions he holds. I believe he's truly transphobic, but he doesn't truly believe that cancel culture is this terrible thing. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it. But something I need to bring up about our boy Matt here is that he justifies quote-unquote ebophilia. First off, if you know the terms, the type of philias when it comes to adults having intercourse with younger people, you're weird. But secondly, right here, we have a tweet of him defending Drake and calling ebophilia totally natural. If you don't know what this refers to, this is referring to the video of Drake smooching and being romantic with a 17-year-old girl when he was about 24. He didn't know the age at first, which usually I'd be like, okay, well, it's not his fault. But then, oh boy.
You can't keep getting away with it! You can't keep getting away with it!
This guy Drake finds out the age and still gives her smooches on the cheek and shit. Like, it's weird, alright? It's weird. Talking to her sexy like and all that, it's odd as fuck. And the fact that this guy's defending it because it's natural, when he's also like against gay people, when being gay is also natural. So he'll make these conflicting statements because he's a grifter. It's whatever makes him money. Now, the biggest thing about Matty that I want to touch on is his vile transphobia. And when I say touch on, I mean I really want to go in depth. This guy is such a gender baiter. Like, if there was a term for race baiter, for gender, like, he's such a gender baiter. Like, he will make these broad stroke claims about biology being changed for gender ideology, but these people never have evidence for that. The biology simply agrees with trans people. The biology agrees, and we could look at all these studies and all that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. There is no study or science or biology that I can bring up and show this guy to make him change his mind, because in reality, these are not viewpoints that he genuinely holds. These are viewpoints that he promotes because they make him money, because there are gullible fucking morons out there who are transphobic and don't understand shit about life. They don't understand anything. They don't understand history. They don't understand science. They don't understand social studies. They don't know anything. So let's just go through and debunk this shit, shall we? This first tweet, like I said, this is why I said he's a fucking gender baiter. Look at him. He wants so bad for there to be a gender war. Gender ideology is this buzzword, same with woke, that none of these dickheads can actually define. First off, if you're going to say that gender ideology, okay, the idea of gender being a social thing which has been around for hundreds of years. I mean, you had fucking people in ancient Greece and ancient Rome who were males, dressed as women, acted as women, did things like women, because woman is a social term associated with social characteristics that, guess what, are different depending on the society. So you can say, I mean, it can be your personal belief or whatever, that this ideology is one of the worst in all time. But if you're just going to say that next to Hitler or Nazism, you have gender ideology, then you're going to have to substantiate that in some way, which this fucking neckbeard will never be able to do. See, this is what I mean. Broad stroke claims about abandoning biology and first off, common sense ain't so common, all right? Common sense can be defined as anything. Flat earthers honest to God, think that they have common sense. So that is irrelevant. And abandoning biology, what are you talking about, fool? Biology. Boom, this is one textbook. Boom, this is another. Boom, this is another. Scientific consensus is that gender is real, sex is real, sex and gender are different, and people of certain sexes can fit into the opposite gender because gender is not a biological thing. Now, anybody who wants to debate that with me, go ahead. Tell me right now, what is the necessary condition to be a woman? What is the thing that is needed to be a woman that if you don't have, you aren't? And no one will be able to answer that question ever. On to the next one. Another gender bait. People who are activists for trans existence are not mass wishing for the death of the opposers. But I will say this. If you are saying that trans people should not exist, then I'm sorry, but you should face the wall. If you do not believe that trans women are women, fine. But if you are telling trans people that they don't deserve life, maybe you don't. And for the record, this guy is saying they think their right to affirmation supersedes your right to live, even though he believes in theocratic fascism, which means that he would actually think that his authority, that he deems the correct authority without actually having evidence of this authority, which is God, does supersede your right to live. He does think that if God or the Bible or his religion says that trans people don't exist, or trans people or gay people shouldn't be a thing, or shouldn't, all these things, he will believe that this book of nonsense does supersede their right to live. So, I mean, we can talk about, oh, this nonsense thing is superseding your right to live, but you do that. Trans people exist. That's not nonsense. That's proven. The Bible is not proven. Using that to supersede someone's right to live and also right not to be owned, because the Bible condones slavery, of course, is, again, hypocritical. Are we noticing a pattern here, fellas?
And when I consider that my own children must inherit this culture, that Dylan Mulvaney and his ilk will prey upon my children and try to turn my own sons and daughters into mutilated, mutant, self-loathing, hollow, twisted shells, and I will speak whatever truths are necessary to protect my kids from this hellish, God-forsaken madness.
Yeah, so let this be known, this guy, Matt Walsh, doesn't like facts. He wants to say one side is trying to abandon biology, but when biology agrees with trans ideology, then he's gonna shit his fucking britches and retreat to his religious state of psychosis.
Now, I have personally heard from many parents, more than I can count, who tell me versions of the same horror story. A beautiful and innocent kid, one day, seemingly out of nowhere, gets sucked into the gender cult and is devoured by it.
This is just not true, and it's blatantly obvious. First off, these parents that are saying, oh, my kid just out of the blue became trans, these are the same exact parents 40 years ago who used to espouse my son was 18 and he just randomly turned gay. It must be the water. No, if your kid is trans and he just tells you out of the blue and you didn't know anything about it prior, then I'm sorry, but you didn't make a safe enough environment for your kid to come out. Your kid didn't feel safe coming out.
The child they held as a baby and raised and gave their lives to and loved and still love becomes suddenly unrecognizable.
If your kid being trans makes them unrecognizable, you are the issue. I'm not gonna apologize for it. You are the problem. You are the reason why the trans and LGBTQ suicide rates are so high.
All of their innocence and light and beauty just drained out of them, replaced by this self-cannibalizing madness. For a parent, to see this happen to a child, it is a fate worse than death. I would rather be dead than have that happen to my kids.
This guy would rather die than have his kid be born a certain way. This guy would rather die than have his kids be gay or trans. This guy is the problem. The biology doesn't agree with them, nature doesn't agree with them, so all they have is, well, my God said so. Yeah, like I said, your God also says you can own people as slaves, and that rape victims must marry their rapists. Why aren't you adhering to that now? Because he's a grifter. It's so obvious.
Ever I want to say, and I will be justified in saying it, because these people are after my kids and yours and everyone else's. And you're worried that I'm being a little rude?
Well, no, I'm worried that you keep making claims with zero fucking evidence. There is no evidence that trans, quote-unquote, ideology is being pushed into schools or any of that. If you're going to talk about the existence of trans people, like, kids are now at least taught that trans people exist in the world. If you're going to call that trans ideology being pushed, then sure. There is no gigantic increase in trans kids. It's because the acceptance has increased. Look at the left-hand chart. People did not suddenly become more left-handed. It just showed that more people were open about being left-handed because it wasn't as stigmatized. Back then, teachers used to whip left-handed writers with rulers because the right hand was seen as the correct hand to write with. Notice the parallel? Being straight is seen as the quote-unquote correct sexuality, so if you're gay or left-handed, then you're punished. But guess what? When it's open and accepted, more people will admit to it. Now, I have a theory, alright? Not to be offensive, considering that I'm also open myself, but my theory goes that this guy Matt is doing all of this to repress his secret homosexual feelings. He's closeted as a motherfucker. Now, I might not be able to prove it, but I can feel it. I tried. I think that I have shown and demonstrated multiple times that Matt Walsh is a grifter. He says things that are hypocritical or contradictory to itself, or contradicts his other statements. I've also shown how the science just blatantly disagrees with him. I've also demonstrated how Charlie Kirk is racist and will take any chance he has to take digs at the black community, and specifically at how qualified black people are at doing our jobs compared to how qualified white people are. But, of course, I can't talk to these people directly. If I could, well, I'd say everything I said in this video and some more. I'd appreciate if you subscribed, dropped a like, commented, I don't know. I'm doing a video on Candace Owens soon, so just stay tuned for that, I guess. Salute.